Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Joan. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everybody could come in. Welcome to our show. If this is your first time, I hope you enjoy it. And if you're a repeat viewer or listener, we're glad to have you back. We have two amazing authors with us tonight, whom you'll be meeting shortly. Don't forget, we're on WLFE-DB.com, where we also now stream live on TV. Variety Unlimited, LGBTQ Friends, and Paranormal Views. So there's something for everyone. Hello, George. Glad to have you here with us.
Hello, George.
Oh, hello, Paulus. We're also glad Paul Hollis is also here.
Yeah. So it was from across the pond there, very late at night, Jan Domagala.
Hi,
Hello, Jan.
Hello, Joan and Rob. I think I've been here before. I think you have been too.
I think you have been too.
Yes.
Okay. So want to also remind everybody about indiebooksource.com. There's close to 100 authors there with hundreds of books that you can shop by genre or by author. That's indiebooksource.com, and you need to support those indie authors today. So without much ado, I think we should introduce and bring in Trish Ostroski. Can't talk today. Hello, Trish.
Hey, hello. I'm happy to be here. It's very exciting to meet everyone.
Yes, sorry, I was distracted by that.
What?
I'm going to take my job back.
You want your job back?
Yes.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Right.
Jan just came in too. Hi, Jan. We're glad that you're here. Okay, Trish, back to you. Why don't you tell people a little bit about your life and why you wrote the book, There's a Rooster in My Bathroom?
Okay, sure. I'd love to. Well, I had a goal for a long time to write a book, and then I finally got around to doing it. I've had a pretty adventurous life. I grew up in Ohio and then went out to Los Angeles. I was involved somewhat in the entertainment industry and in theater. I was a playwright, also a theatrical reviewer, and produced an awards program too as well. I served in the Peace Corps a few years ago in Eastern Europe, and that was very interesting. And by the way, the name of my book is There's a Rooster in My Bathroom. And I actually shared a bathroom for a period of time while in the Peace Corps with a rooster.
With a rooster.
Yes.
Of course, yes. There's nothing unusual about that.
My book, it was a memoir, but it has a lot of life lessons. At the top of the show, Joan mentioned like there's something for everyone in this show, and I think that it's the same is true of my book. There's a wide range of chapters and life lessons, walking the Los Angeles Marathon, being in the Peace Corps. I lost everything in the Northridge earthquake, condo car stuff, so that was a real rebound, but lessons learned. And I have a chapter about the meaning of life, and on book discussion groups, that's been a very popular topic. People discuss like what they feel the meaning of life is.
Yeah, that is a big topic, isn't it? Whoa, getting some feedback. Sorry about that. By the way, Joanne Urbank said hello to you. Trish said hello. Trish, a different Trish, a Trish Pipkins.
Oh, okay.
And Jan Domagala said hi to you, and Paul said hi to you, and Jan, as I said hello to everyone. Glad to have you.
Well, what a friendly group, huh?
Yes, we have the best audience ever. And they ask insightful questions and make great comments. And go ahead and comment all you want, people, because we love to hear what you have to say. And you can go ahead and ask Trish any questions that you want. And so you had said that, okay, here's your book. We'll bring that up. Now, this is really a memoir of your life, right? And all the
Yes.
things that you've been through.
And actually, the whole title is There's a Rooster in My Bathroom, A Quest for Meaning in the Bathroom, the Bedroom, and Beyond.
That was the boardroom.
The boardroom.
And beyond.
Well, okay.
Each chapter.
I'm not going to talk anymore, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Take over here.
I wanted to mention each chapter.
When he
ends
said
in
bedroom, I started to laugh. So
okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, we know what he's got in his mind. It's only 7 o'clock, but I wanted to say that each chapter, I have an inspirational quote at the end. Some are my own quotes, but some I've gotten from well-known people. I'm just going to share one with you. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. That's from Marcus Aurelius.
Yes, quite a famous fellow.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to go into the Peace Corps? That was a big step at that stage in your life, right?
Yeah, it was. Actually, I became interested in it when I was a teenager. And I revisited it later on in life, and I thought about it for a while. And then one day, walking home from the gym in Los Angeles, I decided that, today's the day. I went into the Peace Corps website and I saw that they were going to shut down applications in a couple of months. So I just had enough time to get all my ducks lined up and started submitting. And I remember I was listening to the Lakers game when I was submitting my last piece of that, and sort of everything went on from there. I was interviewed. You have to fill out a lot of forms and tell a lot about yourself, and it's a process. But then I got assigned, and actually, it's a funny thing. Today, in 2013, so June 2nd, 2013, I was flying to Philadelphia to be going over to the Peace Corps, an orientation there, and then the next day off to Eastern Europe in Moldova. So this is kind of an anniversary, so it works out very nice.
Yeah, George says, in my opinion, all Peace Corps members are unsung heroes who deserve far more credit as peace warriors than they receive.
And I agree with that. And I thank you for those kind words.
Yes. And that's true. What did you do there?
I worked in community and organizational development. Actually, I was in the city Derlesh, Moldova, which was right outside of the capital city, Chisinau. I'm not sneezing, that's the name of the city, but I was the first Peace Corps volunteer to ever serve there. So it was kind of pioneering. I was assigned to a new NGO, and one of their goals was English, the earlier the better. So we ran some English programs at a college. I visited a lot of schools. We also got a lot of programs going in the neighborhood. And I worked with a secondary organization that helped disabled children. Now, when I was in the 5th grade, I went to a Catholic school. And in the social studies class, there was a caricature, like a cartoon of the teacher at a board. And this was the Soviet Union. And there was a kid just like crying next to him. This is all a drawn picture. And it said in large letters, "There is no God." And so I was always curious, like, what would life be like in the Soviet Union? How would kids feel? And lo and behold, I ended up going to a former Soviet Union country. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that there's an organization, International Cities of Peace, that's based out of Dayton, Ohio. So one of my projects was to make my host city, Derlesh, to be an international city of peace. I was very proud of that because of all the group effort that went into it. We put in a peace pole in a park, and it was the first city in the former Soviet Union to obtain that designation. So that made that little 10-year-old kid back in the 5th grade in Ohio, very proud. You just never know what life is going to take you to. it sort of came around full circle to that. So I'm very happy about that. And it did a lot for the community too.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you hearing it in the audience? I don't know whether they're getting the feedback. Maybe if I sit forward like this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to
matter. It's when I'm in front of the microphone. I think that's when we get feedback off of your computer. Hello, Ted.
Trish hears the feedback.
Trish hears the feedback. Trish Pipkins does. Hello, Ted. Ted is our station manager. Glad you could make it today, Ted. Glad to have, a little feedback, but it's all good. I think when I leaned for in Jan, okay, people are hearing. Thanks for letting me know. Is it better now, though? Sounds better to me.
I'm not hearing it now.
Yep, everybody was hearing feedback. Right.
Thanks for the feedback and the feedback.
I just have to sit like that. That's the only thing. All right. Another thing that I wanted to talk. I mean, come on. The Peace Corps is the most amazing thing, I think. And thanks, Paul. And Jan says it's better too. Good. This is very comfortable, so none of you should worry.
I don't think they're worried.
I don't think they are either. The Peace Corps is amazing. I mean, it was an amazing thing for you to do. And Ted says they're earbuds, but the problem is on her end, Ted. It's on Trish's end, not on our end. Anyhow, as I was saying, the Peace Corps, I think, was the most amazing thing that you did. The most perhaps impactful thing on your life would have been the Northridge earthquake, which kind of makes one stop to think. You've lost everything, right?
Yeah.
Your car, you said, was as flat as a pancake.
Yes, it really was.
We were living in California at that time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, okay.
But we were out in Riverside.
We were Riverside.
Okay, I was just like a football field away from the actual epicenter. So and back behind me was the Los Angeles River, so it was like soft ground. So things went bad very quickly. But I learned a lot of life lessons and took on the challenges. And although it was tough for a couple of years, in the end, not so bad. And I had other fun things I did too. I actually did stand-up comedy at the Ice House, something I always wanted to do. It was a challenge to put a show together, but it was a lot of fun. And then I did a few local shows, like for charities, got on their bill, and really a challenge to do it, but very enjoyable. So I encourage people, go out and do some of those things that you've always wanted to do.
Yeah, life is short.
Oop, there it goes again.
There it goes again.
Sounds like a bear, like George Dismuke said. Sounds like a bear growling.
Yeah.
Let's get on to check some of the contacts for Trish. And maybe you should do the talking, since I'm not talking too good tonight.
There's no feedback when you talk.
Okay. Just wrong words come out. That's all. Okay. This is how you can reach Trish at trish.ostroski. That's OSTROSKI. And her email is Ostroski with a T at the end, OSTROSKIT@gmail.com. And now we're going to get to the book giveaway, as long as we've got this up here. And take this off. And here we go. This is the first book giveaway of the evening. And it's going to be the first 3 people to email will win an autographed paperback copy of her book, There's a Rooster in My Bathroom. I'm not going to say the rest of the title.
Okay.
All right, let me see if I can now do my job. All right. And Trish Pipkin says, funny, wrong words, though. And thanks, Ted. Everything's fine. Yep, Ted said, just want to jump on and say hi, make sure things are good. Yes, if the guest has earbuds, you will have less, but it's okay now. But yeah, Trish says, the Northridge quake was scary. That was really scary. And actually, it was not too long after that, we moved to Florida.
Oh, okay. All right. And it was, really early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning. So a real wake up call. It was so dark outside. All the lights went out, so you couldn't really see anything.
Yeah, it rocked our house too, but nothing as bad as what you guys got. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, we had no damage or anything like that, but it was bad. And we knew a lot of people that were, stuck in their bedroom under, parts of their house for quite a long time before they were dug out and different things like that all of you that were actually in Northridge went through. That was a bad one. And then we had a lot of aftershocks.
Oh, yes. Hundreds. Yes.
Yeah.
Those were scary.
Days. That went on for days. And our pool, our pool, I don't think stopped sloshing back and forth for days. It was a crazy one. The other thing I wanted to talk about, though, and this is really cool, I think,
put the book cover
is, let's show everybody the book cover. That's the book that you'll get. The first 3 people to email win an autographed paperback copy of There's a Rooster in My Bathroom, which starts with, it has a lot of memoirs and funny things and serious things and really good
life
reflections on life. Yes. But Trish, you were a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I did that for a while. It was one of my goals to do that. And I took a class, and as part of the sort of graduation ceremony, you got to be in a show at the Ice House in Pasadena. And when I was approaching the Ice House, walking up to it the night I was going to be appearing, it listed people that had been there before, like Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. And then I thought, and now tonight, it's me. I don't think I got my name on the outside, though, but it was kind of inspirational to see those names as you're approaching. And I got a number of friends to come to the show that night, and we had a lot of fun, and there were several other performers as well. So that was a cool experience.
Yeah.
And I was involved in some other stuff theatrically. I put one of my plays in. It's about a nurse who lost her life in Vietnam. This is staged as a festival. So I discussed that in the book, but then I thought, it's best that I put it in the book so people could read it. And a lot of people have enjoyed that. That's not a usual thing you get in a book. So like I said, it's kind of that there's something for everyone. The chapters are generally short. It's the kind of thing that you could read it for 10 minutes at night, put on the book stand, and before you go to bed, and just read a chapter, and you'll get through it in no time. It's, it's conversational. I put in some fun. I mean, kind of judging from the title, there's some fun aspects to my life experiences as well.
Yeah, as I told you, we lived in Mexico. The feedback's really bad.
It is.
Okay. Nope. Huh. Do you have any earbuds?
I actually, I just got some. I don't know how to use them, though. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
That's all right. We'll get through.
It's complicated. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not hearing anything but feedback.
Yeah, I know. It's just the rest of us are hearing it. It comes off of your computer because the sound. Never mind. Yeah, but it's we're the ones hearing the feedback. Okay. Now, you also, besides being a playwright, didn't you do some directing of plays?
Yes, I had a wonderful chance at a festival to actually direct one of my plays there. So that was another nice experience to be involved with the performers and get your interpretation up. And that happened to be an all women artists festival, so especially nice to be in that.
Yeah. And who was with you at the Ice House?
Well, the other performers, I don't really remember. I mean, there's some people that were in my class. I do remember that there was one performer that he was 80 years old and people really loved him.
Wow. That I don't think I'd want to try stand-up comedy at this stage of my life, to tell you the truth. So that was brave of him. Also, I don't know if I'd go to the Peace Corps at this stage of my life either. So that was brave of you. And you accomplished a lot.
And I feel that going as a more mature person, things just worked out better, that I had more to offer. I had more life experience and ideas, and I was treated with great respect. The students were really wonderful, and the people appreciate that you've come all that way and are helping their community. And as I said, I was first Peace Corps volunteer in the city I was in, so they were especially happy to have a volunteer there.
That's good. Now, what else have you done besides writing There's a Rooster in My Bathroom? Didn't you co-author some other books?
Yes, I had like chapters in a few other books. There's one coming out soon that it's a collection of stories by a variety of authors. I don't have an update on the exact title and when it will be coming out. I know in the next month or two it's going to be out. I'm also a hypnotherapist too. I worked in advertising in Los Angeles, and then, well, I tell a story about losing my job, but you get the freedom to go on and pursue other things in life. And it's at that time that I took hypnotherapy training, and I work with people and hypnotizing them. But it's wonderful to help people overcome their issues and get to a new level in life. And it's been very rewarding. And I'm doing that here now too. I have a small office nearby.
Trish has a comment. She says, I love what you said about going out and doing things. I need to just get out there and do it, even if I don't feel confident.
Yeah, well, also from another Trish. So yeah, that's right. So it's what you're saying. There's inspiring. Just do it. Just go out there and do it. And it's often not as complicated as you think, and you'll be happy that you stepped forward and made the effort. I mean, that's kind of what life is all about.
Sue Pearson, agree, Trish. Hi, Sue. Welcome to the show. We know you're having surgery tomorrow, so our thoughts are with you. Thanks for dropping in. At least maybe it'll take your mind off of it. So, I think that hypnotherapy is really interesting to me. I've never been hypnotized. I don't know if I'd want to be hypnotized, but I think that I would like to. But it can help you overcome like smoking and, fears of doing things. And right? Can't you do all of those things through hypnotherapy?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with people on all those things you've mentioned, even stage fright. I had a client once who came in, she was 59, and she decided in the session, although she hadn't even thought about this before, that she wanted to put together a play and tell about her family's issues. There's some mental health issues. And then on her 60th birthday, I was sitting in the front row of the audience, and she had this play being staged. So she'd never written a play or acted. So she took steps for that year to get a director, get instruction, learn how to do it, and stage the show. And it was a success. So, and I had another woman who was interested in art. It just sort of came to her in the session, and right away she got into an art class. She wanted to paint, and then it was 3 weeks later she had a little showing of her work. But it was something just inside of her that was dying to get out, and the hypnotherapy process helped her release that and made her very happy and felt very creative and was very excited about her life. There was just something missing.
Oh, that's really wonderful. You know, it's sort of like meditation, isn't it? Because if
Yes,
you meditate,
it
it's
can be very
almost
meditative and relaxing and stress free. I mean, I give the session that people are in a reclining chair, and just sometimes they just don't even want to get out of the chair. It feels so good, but everybody sort of gets that stress reduction, and they feel better, and it gets them to a new place in life, how they think. Just a bit of a switch up, and it makes a big difference.
The other Trish says, Trish, what are you still wanting to do in life? What are your future goals?
Well, very good. Just recently, I started to pitch a movie that's based on a true story about a basketball team. I feel like it's up there with Hoosiers in its content and inspiration, but I'm on ground one. I mean, I'm on a baby step on that right now. I'd like to publish a couple more books, and I'm working on having some information and classes online. I'm still on a baby step on that too, but I think in a few months I'll be getting some information up online, and I'm looking forward to that journey. I like to keep busy and have other goals, because I think it keeps you young and active and involved, and makes a great deal of difference in one's life.
Can you share a little bit about what you want to be writing?
What I'm going to be writing? Well, I'm kind of debating that. I do want to write a children's book. I have an idea for it. It's something that I wrote in college years ago. My working title on that now is the May Day Freckle Party. Actually, it's sort of about myself. On May Day, I went down because my aunt told me that if you go down and get the dew from the grass, you can put it on your freckles and your freckles will go away. It didn't work, but but kids have that sort of thing, that maybe something bothers them and makes them feel different. So I'm concentrating on that one to be my children's book. And for another book, I have a couple ideas, but I want to flesh it out a bit more before I talk about it.
I had a lot of freckles when I was a kid, and I had red hair. And my grandmother told me that the freckles were where all the angels kissed me before I was born.
Oh, well, that's a nice thing.
So then I was like, oh, good.
Yeah, and then
my freckles didn't bother me.
and then one day my freckles went away, and I think I kind of missed them.
Exactly true. I miss mine. I just wanted to say again that the book giveaway is the first 3 people to email will win an autographed paperback copy of Trisha's book, There's a Rooster in My Bathroom. And her email is Ostroskit. So it's OSTROSKIT, which of course means Trish Ostroski. And it's at gmail.com. So say that again. I'll say that again. OSTROSKIT at gmail.com. And you can find Trish on trish.ostrowski. If you just look for her on facebook.com, you can find her there. Okay.
And indiebooksource.com.
Yes, Indie Book Source, like all of the authors that actually said hello tonight. They're all on indiebooksource.com. And remember, if you read a book and you like a book, would you please give the author a good review? It helps all of us a lot. We have one more comment here. George says, George already emailed her. Hope I was one of the first 3.
Good luck.
Yay, George.
Trish said, I did want to mention, for anybody else, I mean, I realize that some people might be out of the country, that my book was the online book of the month in April, and I reduced the price on the ebook, and it's still reduced. So if it doesn't work out for you, paperback, and maybe you're out of the country, that could probably help you out. But thank you so much.
Yes, we do have a lot of people that listen out of the country, actually, and that watch.
So we're at our time where we have to take a break, and we need to do some commercials. It'll take 3 to 5 minutes. And when we come back, we'll have Lillian Brummet on. And so sit tight, everybody. Don't go away. There'll be another book giveaway in the next half hour.
Thank you.
At Indie Book Source, you can shop by genre or by author, and you will be buying direct from the author's main purchase link. We offer hundreds of titles in formats that include ebooks, paperback, hardbound, and audiobook. Support an indie author. Visit indiebooksource.com today.
In a world where advancing technology is outpacing crime solving, the O'Rourke team continues their relentless pursuit of justice. Bioprints is the first book in the O'Rourke crime novel series where it's high-tech crime versus old-fashioned detective work. Visit carternovels.com or amazon.com and check out Bioprints today.
Oh, yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab and bam! There you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com.
WLFE Digital Broadcast Network presents Variety Unlimited Television. Watch shows like Meet the Author Podcast, The Bipolar DM, Just Cindy, Card Pulls and Coffee, Unfiltered Talk with Bryce, and more. That's right, our shows are your shows on WLFE Digital Broadcast Network. And now, back to the show.
And we're back.
Hello, Lillian. Glad to see you. How are
Hi.
you doing?
Hi, Rob. Hi, Joan. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing really well. We're glad to have you on the show. We're sorry Dave couldn't be on.
Oh, he's working overtime, making the dollars for the family. You know, guy's got to do what he's got to do.
Right. That's important.
It
So,
is.
Lillian, could you tell us a little bit about you and Dave? And the
Sure.
books you write.
Sure. Okay. Well, Dave and I met about 30 years ago, a little over 30 years ago in Kelowna. Dave was born and raised in Kelowna, BC, in Canada. And this is in the Okanagan Valley, the famous wine center there of BC. Anyway, so that's where he was born and raised. And the circles that we were in at the time sort of overlapped a little bit. We went to the same places, and so we became connected that way. And he basically chased me down. He would go to places he thought I would be at the times he thought I would be, and he would try to meet me there all the time, you know, just, oops, I just happened to be here when you are. And so he ended up basically chasing me down and convincing me that he was the best man ever, which he is. And we've been together ever since, 30 years later, 30 plus years. So I think that's my greatest success in life is finding such a wonderful relationship. We lived in Kelowna together for about, I think it was 12 years or so. And then I got involved into an accident. It was a 3-car pileup, and I was in the middle. So I lost my career. I lost my business. I lost my sense of self. I gained a lot of pain and a lot of medication, a lot of therapy, and a lot of pills. And it took several years for me to come to some level of having a life again. And we decided at that point that something had to be done. I was having a lot of depression, wasn't really feeling very good about where my life was heading, life itself. I felt really frustrated because I had worked really hard to get myself to the point where I could, you know, I was educated, I was financially stable, I had, you know, and I had done it all on my own, and I had, you know, got my own business, all of that. And so it was a real blow for me to lose that part of myself. And so it left me very floundering, and I was very disappointed that these things could be just wiped from the slate and leave you with nothing afterwards, after all that effort. And I thought, what was the meaning behind of that? Why did I put all that effort into it, And so it gave me a different thinking, a different way of looking at my efforts in life. And I decided that if when I go forward, I wanted to do something that was going to give my life meaning. It was going to give me some purpose, and where I would have the opportunity, at the very least, to try and make a difference out there in the world, a positive difference, by empowering other people. So Dave had always had this passion for writing, and he was also on this path, in this path of thinking. Luckily, it isn't always that way with spouses, that you're on the same path at the same time, but we were. And so we were encouraging each other, and we started taking writing courses, and we'd already run businesses in the past, but we continued with business writing courses in the world of writing. And that led us to where we are now, some 30 years later, with 6 books. Actually, we published 7 books altogether. One is no longer in publication. We have 6 books that are currently available, and we have many, many more works in the future. We have a huge passion for the environment, for being very proactive in life. So we're big on composting and cooking from scratch and gardening. We go out there and we clean up the shores and clean up the trails, and we participate in every way that we can from where we are in our lives to try to make a difference in our own lifestyle, let alone what we do in our careers. My husband is a drum teacher. He also repairs drums, refurbishes them. He has a little side branch, volunteer project from his Angle Hill studios, where he calls it Drum It Forward. And so every so many years, when he has gathered up enough materials, such as a washer or a wing nut or a cymbal or a part, so he gets all these parts together, and when he has enough of those type of parts and materials, he'll go to a number of schools or nonprofit organizations and music places that encourage music and the arts, and he'll go there and he'll help them refurbish their equipment, get it running, take it out of the cupboards and closets, get it repaired, get it so the students can start playing them, that kind of thing. And so that's a real passion of his. And we just really love living here in Creston, BC, which is the 3rd residence that we lived in. We lived in Kelowna, then Grand Forks, and now in Creston, BC. And we just absolutely love it here. This is where we're here to stay.
You've really overcome a lot. I mean,
that's for sure.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
You're a very strong woman, and to be able to turn it around and make something positive out of it, that's very impressive. Just
on the side, we're hearing some thunder approaching, so hopefully we won't lose any power here. But if we do, then we'll kind of drop back 20 and punt. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll see, right?
We're so far so good.
So far so good. Yep.
But I put up some of your covers here from One Small Garden. That's one book.
Yeah.
Is that the latest book?
Yes, that is the latest book. That book started 18 years ago or something like that. It was initially just a gathering of our favorite recipes, and it slowly evolved to what it is now. It was about 5 years ago when I realized that this book really needed to be put out as a book for the public to have. It's been in the revision and the working process for a very long time, refining everything. I really wanted to make that book something special, not just a cookbook. It's a very special cookbook. It's full of nutritious and highly nutritious and delicious foods. So we take advantage of a lot of what they call superfoods, a lot of things that you grow in your own garden or that can be garnered from local suppliers, local farmers, things like that. So we really encourage that. We also encourage, reusing your food so that you have less food waste. So we show people the value of, freezing that half a cup of corn that's left at the end of your meal, because you can add it to this, that, and the other thing, and you can make this delicious meal. And so helping people extend their budgets, reduce their food waste, that was a huge part of it. But dabbled throughout the book as well. I included things like historical information about the food that is in the cookbook. So you'll learn, where it came from and how it evolved and what family it belongs to, and the nutritional content, and really interesting ancient methods of growing it, and things like that. So it's more than just a cookbook.
Trish says, Lillian, I absolutely love British Columbia. I live in Florida, but I need to visit there again. Truly a beautiful place.
It absolutely is. Yes, we have lots of pictures on our website, on our blog. If people want to go browsing through there, all the pictures that are on the blog are the ones that I've taken myself here locally. So I hope they enjoy those views. They're absolutely stunning.
Well, I know that the two of the books that are on your giveaway are Rhythm and Rhyme, and the other one is Towards Understanding. Would you like to tell us a little bit about each of those shows and those books? And then meanwhile, I'll put up the tickers.
Okay. Well, the cover from Towards Understanding was actually my mom's favorite picture of me. She said it was so me, being introspective, hanging out by the lake. I was very much a solitary, deep thinker for most of my life, and she just said that was just so me. And my husband liked the idea of putting my name in the sand because, leaving your mark, your footprints, what you leave behind. And that was the reason why I wanted to write that book. It was really scary to write that book, I have to say, because the poetry in it is raw, it's real, it's filled with emotional pieces. It'll take you on the journey of my journey, of a young woman's journey from being on her own at the age of 14, just before I was 14, and evolving into my 20s when I had achieved, as we spoke before, I had gotten my education, I had built up my own business, and then I got into the car accident. So it takes you through that phase of my evolving through the damage that that was a part of me from my past, from the childhood that I had. So when my mom got married 5 times in her lifetime. Her 5th marriage was her happiest. So thankfully she had that. But we moved 13 times before I was 8 years old. So, these kinds of upbringings, right? My mom wasn't terribly nurturing, and she made a lot of poor choices with her boyfriends and husbands. And unfortunately, a few of them were abusive to her kids, including myself. So both my brothers were on their own when they were 16. I was on my own when I was 14. It was later on in life, in my 20s, when I was able to become friends with my mom on a different level, not as mother and daughters, but we bonded on other levels, mostly about gardening. My mom was passionate about gardening. She was a master gardener, and she also ran a hobby farm in Kelowna, market garden hobby farm, where they specialized in rare and endangered species. And that grew my passion for making a difference with gardening, with seed saving, and getting involved in those types of organizations.
Well, that was you really are an overcomer. You're a survivor. To have gone through a childhood like that, and then to have overcome that, and now you're moving forward in your victory there, and then to get hit through no fault of your own in another accident, and then to have to overcome that. I am sure that book is very raw and very real. Jen said, "You're a strong woman, Lillian. Thank you for sharing those personal bits that formed who you are." Absolutely. I agree, Jan, 100%. And Trish Pipkin says, "Lillian is a victor. I love it." And that's the truth.
Oh, you're all so sweet. Thank you.
Well, I think they're just telling the truth. So the first 2 people to email will win an ebook copy of either Rhythm and Rhyme, which we'll talk about that in a minute, or Towards Understanding. Towards Understanding is the cover that you saw where she's standing in front of the lake. And to win that, you just have to email at idbrummet@gmail.com. That's
Is that LD?
No,
That's an
LD.
L. Yeah.
Thank you, Lillian. Of course. LD Brummet,
Yeah.
LDBRUMMET @gmail.com. All right. So now, if you could tell us a little bit about Rhythm and Rhyme, the other book.
Okay, so Rhythm and Rhyme is it's equally raw, but it comes from a different level, so a more mature level. So it talks about it covers topics ranging from celebrating love and the solace and the healing power of nature itself. But it also covers deeper topics such as life obstacles, difficulty in relationships, the heavy weight of grief, and the power of music. It's a collaboration of both Dave and my poetry, and it's sort of split in half, mine and his. That's how we decided to split it instead of topic or what have you. Our styles of writing poetry are very, very different, and yet we're both very playful with words. We like to paint with words. From Dave's end, his talent for writing comes in this genre comes from writing lyrics for music, for songs, for bands that he's been a part of, right? He's a drummer. And in order to, this is an interesting fact. So of all the members in a band, the drummer is usually the least paid in regards to royalties of a song, because if they didn't have any part of the lyrics themselves. Even though they play their own part and maybe their drum part actually formed the song, it doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter when it comes to royalties. So Dave wanted to have a little more part in the ownership of the songs. And so he started writing more lyrics. And that's where he started coming into the flow of poetry. And it was really interesting, man. He would come up with stuff that just blew me away. And he didn't realize how talented he was. And so when we collaborated on this project, he was a little bit resistant because he was coming from the mindset of, I'm just not good enough. Geez, people aren't going to like this. And in fact, his poetry are people's favorite. They often mention that, this poem is my favorite. It's often his from that book. He's phenomenal at writing poetry.
All right. George had just said, must be the weather closing in on us, that if you saw, he had also said we're freezing up every once in a while. So just to let you know, the storm actually is here. I don't know if you can hear it in the background.
Pretty much on top of us right now, but we usually do pretty good with our power. So
we'll just keep motoring on. And I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying.
Should we go through the contact information?
Yeah, I want to go through your contact information so people know how to get in touch with you. On Facebook, it's Lillian.Brummet. All right. And at Twitter, it's Twitter @Brummet. And their website is www.brummetmedia.ca. All right, so that people can get in touch with you there.
Thank you.
Sorry, now I'm losing my voice. This is great. It's been a great night so far.
Trish Pipkin says, my husband is also a drummer, and they are truly the backbone of the band. It's a shame they are the least recognized. My husband gave up being in a band.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort to be in a band. A band is a marriage, but you're with, 4 or 5 spouses. So, people have a hard enough time with one spouse, imagine 4 or 5 spouses, and then you have the artistic temperament involved in there. And then, the scenes that they're involved in. It depends on, the type of band they are, but they could be, in some pretty difficult situations. Maybe their audience, or there's a lot of drinking, or you never know what they're issues are that they're facing in the different scenes that they're involved in with the band. But there's always something that the band has to deal with, and it can be trying, really trying, and it's very difficult for people to have those types of relationships for a very long time together, as a unit, without having going off on their own here and there and then coming back. That happens often, just so they can become more of themselves and then come back refreshed. But it can be very difficult to be a member of the band. At the same time, it can be a lifeblood thing. I mean, my husband my husband drums all the time. He drums on everything, when he's taking things out of the dishwasher, if he's in the shower, it doesn't matter where he is, he's drumming, he's tapping. And he has his studio, of course, as part of our home and office. And he has a couple of bands that he's a part of. One is a rock band right now, quite active rock, high energy. And then the other one is actually a more lounge act, where they have hang drums, congas, various types of percussion, talking drums, that kind of thing, are involved in that band setting, and it's very peaceful. Sometimes they gather and they hang out in our gardens, and they do their practices under the tree, or we have this huge pine tree, and so they often gather under the shade of that, and they'll hang out and play there. It's beautiful, that music trickling around the neighborhood.
Yeah, I love drum
That's awesome.
circles.
Yeah.
I think they can be very healing, and harmonics can be very healing. So that's a good thing, especially drumming.
Absolutely. Yeah, we see the change in people all the time when they come to our workshops, family workshops in particular. You can see the dynamics change between the family members, how they bond, the laughter that they end up having. We've had mothers come with their children that are in the rebellious stage, and then they're kind of not wanting to do it, and they're sort of and then they get into it, and then by the end everybody's laughing and giggling, and they can't wait to come back for the next one. And you can really see the change in the dynamics of the group itself, as well as the individual who ends up gaining confidence. They end up become physically better. We have a few people who have who bring dementia people by to help them with their dementia issues. We've had a few mentally challenged people come with their caretaker. I'm not sure what their actual title is. Their caretaker would come as well with them to make sure that everything went okay, and to have see them just get so much pride and joy. This one lady, she was so cute. She was very shy about drumming, and this mentally challenged lady, and she left the studio. She kept on saying, "I could do it. I'm good at this. And she was all proud of herself, and it just gave us such a thrill to see that change. Drumming is a healing tool, absolutely.
Yeah, I know that all kinds of music can be very helpful to some children and adults that are on the autism spectrum also. Mm-hmm. It's very important. Some of them respond really well.
It's great for stress too, because it puts you in this meditative stage where you're in the now. And you're listening. You can't be thinking about things, because you're listening to the dynamics of the group. When are you going to come in? When are they going to come in? And what part you're playing? And are you playing it on time? Those kinds of things are going on in your head. So your head is just firing off. All these synapses are just going like crazy in your brain. And that's really healthy for your brain. But it's also very healthy for you as the individual. You come back into, it's like womb. You're coming back into this real life. The music stops and real life comes back in, and you feel different. You really do feel different.
Trish says, I've seen music even used to help animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's true. Also, I did want to put up one other book and talk about that very quickly. It's Purple Snowflake Marketing, How to Make Your Book Stand Out in a Crowd.
Yes.
Because as we said, we all want to be the purple snowflake, not the white one.
Yeah, that title, I just absolutely love it because of the visual factor of, you're in this midst of this heavy snowfall, and it's really heavy nowadays, a really heavy snowfall of authors. And now you have to stand out. How are you going to stand out? So that's what that book walks you through. It's based on a 2.5 decade experience in this career, but also the experience of running businesses are in there as well. So we talk about it from the business aspect. When you have published a book, you are a business, whether you feel like you are or not. There's lots of benefits that come with that, though. There's all kinds of tax deductions and all kinds of wonderful things that you can utilize if you know where to look and how to find that information. So we show them how to utilize that, how to find that information. We walk them through the process of developing a business plan, developing a marketing plan, an action plan, a succession plan. It sounds really complicated, but it isn't. It doesn't have to be this big binder of paperwork that people might be imagining right now that they're going to be working on. Your business plan might be 1 page or 3 paragraphs or something like that. It's really designed to make each book that you release, you would have a marketing plan for the life of that book, which can be longer than the contract that you have with the publisher. So it takes you through the life of that book and how to create a marketing plan for the life of that book, for every book that you release, and how to make that book a purple snowflake.
That sounds like a really good book that we could all benefit from reading. I think that one of the most difficult things for creative people is self-promotion.
It can be, but you can really, once you know the ropes, it can be quite fun. I find it really fun now. Originally, it was one of the most difficult things. I was in very, very much uncharted territory. I felt very inadequate and nervous. But 2.5 decades later, it's one of the most fun things for me. I love doing things like this. I love appearing on blogs. They call me a master marketer and a guru. A guru networker. So, it's just something that I really enjoy doing now. When we released the cookbook, it was released officially in February. It was available for people to purchase. So as of that moment until about mid-May, using the Purple Snowflake marketing techniques, we were able to get into 38 different media. We were either interviewed or mentioned or featured in some way in 38 different media. And then plus we got into the Creston Card and Stationery Store, which is stocking our book. We got the Creston Food Action Coalition group. They're utilizing our cookbook as a fundraiser, so they're selling it in the farmers market. We got the Grow Fresh project, which is funded through the Columbia Basin Trust organization, a nonprofit organization, and what they're doing is they're teaching people how to garden and then also how to cook from that garden harvest. So they're using our cookbook in their cooking classes. And the Kettle Valley Food Co-op, they're displaying it on their shelves for their clients. So, the methods that we teach in the book really do work. I use them all the time. I can't remember it all, so it's my own personal guide. I go back and I'm checking, did I do that? Did I do that? If I haven't done it, when can I work it into the action plan?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, your website is really good. It's got not only all your books on it and the blog, but also has links to like Dave's business and with the drums and all sorts of good information. So that was a very nice website.
Yeah, really well-done website. And don't forget Indie Book Source too, because all of these authors can be found there, and we have direct links to buy their books right on our website.
There you go. So we're going to ask, Lillian, if you have anything to ask Trish, and Trish, if you have anything to ask Lillian. You're both strong, overcoming women. You've overcome a lot, and you're to be applauded out there. We appreciate you and hearing your stories. So if you guys have any questions for each other, you want to talk to each other about anything, feel free to.
I just want to say it was really wonderful to have you both on tonight, and you both have overcome so much and now are giving back so much that, I'm really impressed, and just, hats off to you. good for both of you.
That's very kind. Trish, I do have a question. When
Yes.
you went through the devastation of losing your belongings and your home, and did you find that you lost a sense of self? Did you have to discover yourself before you rebuilt your life?
Well, in a way, but it also lets you tune into that these are many material things, and there were some things that were special to me that I lost, but it does give you a focus of, that things are just material, and those aren't the most important things. When I was going away to the Peace Corps, I really either gave away things or donated, and I kind of stripped my life that I just had minimal possessions. In a way, that was a very freeing experience. I don't think I have a question, but I just did want to make a comment. Oh, you Canadians, you're always so much nicer than Americans, and it's so nice to share the stage with a Canadian.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh.
Hi, Mary Lou. Yeah, sorry I tuned in late. Hopefully I can find a replay. Yeah, on Facebook, on Meet the Author podcast page, on Indie Book Source YouTube page. You can channel, Indie Book Source YouTube channel. You can watch all the old episodes. And so, yeah, you're on YouTube now, so you should be able to just switch over whenever you want to.
And also you can find it on the YouTube channel that you're on. You can then replay it later. And also, we also publish these just as audio podcasts, and you'll be able to find them on Amazon Prime, on iTunes, on Spotify, just about any that you can think of. Trish, you want to read what Trish said?
Trish says, both authors tonight are really inspirational. This has been so encouraging. Thank you both.
Amen. And Paul Hollis says, excellent interviews. Thanks so much to Trish and Lillian. Thanks, John and Rob, as always. Thank you, Paul. And
appreciate your...
Paul Hollis is the author of the Hollow Man series, and he's led a very fascinating life and has been all over the world also.
He's in episode 2.
He's in episode 2 if you want to hear his podcast story, because he was an undercover agent and he helped bring terrorists down. And that's the truth. He was there for the troubles in England and Ireland, and he was also there for many other the Spanish terrorist problems. So, like I said before, if you read any of these books and you like these books, please leave a review and tell what you like about them. I know that I'm encouraged. Jen says, thank you, Trish and Lillian. Loved hearing your stories. Me too. I loved hearing their stories too. And thank you, Rob and Joan, once again, an excellent podcast. Thank you. Thank you, considering all of the sound problems. And
I didn't make any mistakes, so I'm clear here.
And then I got the giggles because he said bedroom instead of boardroom. That just struck me so very funny.
Well, you might want to change the title. I don't know. Maybe.
You might sell more books. Trish Pipkin says Paul is very cool, and he is very cool. You got to listen to that podcast. And Jan says, great show tonight, as always. Thanks to both authors and to Rob and Joan. And you know what? Listen, Jan he lives in England, and he enjoys. It's like, I'm sure Joy's 1 a.m. Yes, enjoy his partner. It's like 1 a.m. then. Thank you guys for staying up to listen to us live. I can't even.
That's so awesome.
That is so awesome.
And speaking of shows, next week we're off. We are going camping, so don't try to watch us live because you won't see us on the 9th. You can
catch up on all the podcasts you hadn't watched.
Watch any of the old ones you want and enjoy and laugh and have a good time. The 16th, episode 14, on the 16th of June, author and publisher Kirsten Hall is going to be on. And then also with her is author Tori Gates. So both of them will be on the 16th. So be here then, and we're going to have more book giveaways, I'm sure. And do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say again, honestly, both of your stories were so inspirational. You know, you're both overcomers. You both then use that to do good and to give back to the community and to try and help others. And I can't think of anything more healing than that, than to try and help other people. And, you know, just kudos to both of you. Congratulations to both of you. And it's been wonderful to meet you. And it was a wonderful show.
And thank you for being our guest.
And go ahead and sign up to win their book giveaways, people, and all the rest of you buy their books. Well, until next time.
That's all, folks.